The weight of the light from above, brought to bear on the froth of the waves on the sea. It's basically a sculpture. The work itself came about in conversations with Christian about ARKEN. It's about the materials that I'm choosing to use. Now, you can't make a painting without getting the surface, canvas, paper, whatever, buying the paint, mixing it. The same with the sculpture. You can't build a sculpture till you decide what the materials you're trying to build something to tell something with. I chose the materials that were at ARKEN. And those were waves and light. One of the things is you're standing, there's water, which is a material, and light has weight. And art is really all about the appreciation of materials and human beings. And it's an appreciation, it's to give dignity to a material. I get interested in the materials, and it's the phenomenon of the interaction of the materials that interests me. I don't have an idea to begin with. What is the purpose of sculpture? Have you an idea? Sculpture is a marking of materials that help human beings find their own place in the sun. And the quest, as you call it, I didn't think of it as a quest, but what I'm trying to do when I make a sculpture is place something in the world where nobody has to know anything except that, and they can use it to determine their relationship to the materials at hand. That's the quest. I don't want to fuck up somebody's day on their way to work. I want to fuck up their whole life. And the way you do that is to place things in public that when people look at it, they can use it as a reference point to understand really what their dreams and their aspirations are with some knowledge. That if they can use it, it would enrich their daily life. And that's all that art is. And it's not for the millenniums, it's not forever, it's for right now, because I'm only from right now. Here we are. If I were ever to make a piece in a place like this, it would be whatever work I was capable of making. But it would have this little thing running next to it that said, Si parvit lisa comprina magni, which means this only applies if the small can be compared to majesty. Because in fact, art is one of the few things left that does not exist in a hierarchy. And art is supposed to be that wonderful thing that doesn't have a genus. There's no way to even judge it except by its use. And I find that that piece, just by chance at ARKEN, down and up, has a use. I hope. And if it doesn't, well, it's one of those works of art that people don't like. What can I do? Democracy is all about entitlement. And maybe I'm an old line American socialist. I do believe that every single person is entitled to a roof over their head and an education and health care and some dignity. But that's about it. That's about all we can ask from the society. But when you're standing in front of a palace, and you can't make it so personal because there's somebody there who might be the nicest person in the whole world and mean the best. But if there's a little girl in Yuland that wants to be a scientist and wants to be the most famous person in the world, they'll never be as good as that other person, even if they find a cure for cancer, even if they make the best art. And as long as that exists in our world, that there are people as nice as they are, as decent as they are, that think that they are better than everybody else, you can't have what they used to call democracy. Democracy is entitlement on the same level of every single human being. If what I do has some use for them, it's there, it's given, and by chance I make work that it's very simple to present it to people. It's maybe not simple to understand, but nothing is simple to understand. I still have trouble with my cell phone. So art is the same thing. Maybe you have to go and find out what to do with it. The weight of the light from above, brought to bear on the froth of the waves on the sea. Not in the sea, but on the sea.